Hello, everyone. Welcome to San Diego State University. Congratulations on your admissions, and I cannot convey how excited we are to welcome you to the School of Exercise and Nutrition Sciences. I'd love to introduce you to our undergraduate advising team. This me on the left, Kelly Lane, my partner Louise Chatinier in the middle, and on the right, our advising assistant Elise North. The topics in this module include, we're going to cover the degree requirements. So there are 3 areas of your degree. The major requirements, and since we're your major advisors, that's pretty much what we're going to stick to. We're also, though, going to point out where the major requirements also satisfy GE or general ed requirements, and we'll also briefly touch on the topic of your international experience requirement. The services that academic advising provides, we will also discuss because some of those are pertinent to you today and your transition from pre-major to major status, and if you have any exceptions that need made to your academic program. So we'll talk about what our team does for you while you're here to make your ride a little smoother. We'll also discuss your schedule plan. So we'll look at each major and discuss the classes that you should schedule. So first topic are the degree requirements. We have 3 kinesiology emphases. One is for students that are geared towards physical therapy school or a doctorate in physical therapy. One is for students that plan to work in fitness, whether it be in adaptive populations, athletic populations for athletic training, or even in occupational therapy settings. We also have a degree that's very much like the fitness specialist emphasis, only these students transfer in with an associate's degree. This is the exercise science generalist emphasis. We also have a foods and nutrition program that has a pre-professional joint DPD program or didactic program in dietetics so that you can become a registered dietitian after you graduate from San Diego State. So lower division, we're going to start talking about the lower section of the degree requirements, and for transfer students, fortunately, those are mostly done. Starting with foods and nutrition. It's a 46-unit major preparation program. So students will take natural sciences, social and behavioral sciences, writing, anatomy, and even a couple specific classes in nutrition to get them ready for the major. To transition from the preparation for major or pre-major to major status or upper division status, students need to meet the impaction criteria, showing on the right in the boxes. A 2.9 cumulative GPA, a C or better in Chem 100 and organic chemistry, which here is chemistry 130. If you're transferring in, we're going to check for these courses to be met to transition you into the major. Now, just to again point out where the major preparation satisfied GE, we knocked out a lot of the GE requirements with the major preparation classes. And again, most of you are already done with those. Several students transfer in without biochemistry done. And here at San Diego State, that's biochem or Chem 160. And we'll talk about this with your schedule plan, but it's critical that you schedule that class this fall. That one has to be done to graduate and matriculate out on time in spring 2023. Another course that students have a hard time acquiring before they transfer to San Diego State is the food science class or nutrition 205. So just pointing out that those are 2 major prep courses that if you don't have done, you are right with the rest of the group. Want to check your oral comm class because when you apply to the DPD program this year, they'll want to make sure that you have the appropriate or the right oral comm. And also the intro to nutrition class. If it cleared, perfect. If it did not clear, if your intro nutrition didn't take away the nutrition 201 requirement, it could be because the course was deemed non-equivalent. We're pretty specific with our intro to nutrition. We needed to have a chem and a biology prerequisite. So we can review that course for you if you'd like, but you may need to schedule our nutrition 201 and perhaps oral comm if you didn't take the right one for the DPD. Any other questions that you have about scheduling those remaining lower div classes, if you even have any left, you would consult with the Office of Evaluations. They're your general ed advisors, and they can best steer you to picking the best classes for GE that aren't related to the preparation for nutrition major. So the other programs in the Kines side, they all have in common the same impaction criteria, 2.9 GPA and a C or better in Intro to Kinesiology or here at State ENS 200 and anatomy. All of these pre-major preparation for major have different number of units required, pre-PT needing 50, fitness specialist needing way fewer at 40, and the exercise science generalist program, it isn't really a unit number assigned to it. It's that these students have an associate's degree at the lower division level transferring into state. The major preparation for all the kinesiology degrees they share. It's called the core major prep. And it, just like nutrition, includes natural sciences, social and behavioral sciences, writing, anatomy, only they also have an intro to athletic training class. And of course, that same intro to nutrition. Lots of lower division general ed being satisfied with those major prep classes. And just like with nutrition, we often see that equivalent course didn't transfer in because it may have been missing the important chem and bio prereq that our intro nutrition requires. So we can review that course with you if need be. And just like we mentioned before, please consult with the Office of Evaluations to plan your general education courses if you have any lower division courses left in that area. Now we're looking at the upper division section. So if you've already finished your lower division, you're already sitting in the upper division major status. And for these, we're going to talk about them one by one. The foods and nutrition major includes a set of human nutrition courses, learning about, the human body and how it interacts with foods and nutrients. They also include a section on food science where you'll learn about how to use analytical equipment and how to measure food attributes and properties, and also food production and food business management so that you can learn how to, say, start a nut butter at a farmer's market. So you'll learn some of those more monetary and financial skills that go with food services. Also, just like other majors, or just like in the lower division section, one of your courses, Human Physio, also satisfies Explorations A in the natural sciences. If you already transferred in with physiology done, no big deal. You're just going to take a different course for your natural sciences A. The DPD pathway, this is something we have a whole nother module for you to listen about because it is a little complicated with the requirements changing in 2024. So the professional requirements are switching so that you have to have a master's. And so we've prepared a small short module for you to listen to about that path. But essentially, you'll apply to the DPD this year as you transfer in your junior year. And that makes you eligible to take 7 units of DPD coursework next year. And that makes you eligible to do a dietetic internship and master's degree post-bachelor's, and that's how you'll become a registered dietitian or an RD. And luckily, the DPD director did a little module for you guys to learn more about the process to become an RD. And again, I really want to illuminate that it is a post-bac process. So here you're just becoming, verified to be able to do that. You earn a verification statement so that you can go on after bachelor's and earn your RD credential at the master's level and with a DPD or dietetic internship. So again, if you have any questions about your extra upper division GE in the B and C category, you please consult with GE Advising. The pre-PT major is small. It's only 39 units because it, if you remember, had a huge prep for major section. So pre-PT is definitely bottom heavy, and luckily you guys are mostly done. It's a very light top program. So there aren't a ton of units, and you'll see that when we get to the schedule plan. But essentially you're gonna be taking core courses in physio, exercise physiology, disease pathophysiology, so how disease is onset and how, exercise interferes with the disease progression and onset. You'll take classes in biomechanics and motor learning, essentially looking at how the brain and the muscles coordinate learning and movement and how we retain our ability to use those movements, etc. And all of these, of course, being important to the practice of physical therapy. So you guys also, with your major courses, satisfy a couple of upper division GE explorations, both in the sciences and in the social and behavioral sciences. So the things that's special about the pre-PT program, or what differentiates it from the others, is that there are the DPT prerequisites, which include a physiology lab and also abnormal psych, both being additional prerequisites that are needed for PT school that are included in your bachelor's. Sometime during this next year, hopefully during this next year, some students do take a gap year, but if you wanted to apply straight through and start PT school right after the bachelor's, sometime this junior year, you'll make sure to secure 3 references, 100 observation hours in at least 2 settings under a physical therapist. And that would satisfy your requirements to apply to physical therapy school during your fall senior year. Again, just like with all of the other conversations, because it's important you understand the different tracks of advising, please consult with GE Advising to look into, what courses you should take for your last exploration and perhaps upper division writing if you need one. So the fitness specialist major, I just want to flash back to this one to show you how big the units are. This one's 39 units upper div, this one's 51. Because remember, in the prep section, this one was much smaller. This is very front light and this is very top heavy. So you guys have a pretty packed schedule the next 4 semesters to finish up your major coursework, which includes, just like the pre-PT program, the physiology and health comm, which satisfies GE. It also includes the same exercise phys, pathophys, biomechanics, motor learning, but it also includes a whole area on adaptive programming and fitness for elderly people and for people who have disabilities, functional, physical disabilities. And you'll also do a capstone internship where you'll get experience in the field with licensed people like medical exercise specialists, strength and conditioning coaches, athletic trainers, personal trainers, etc. This program is also conditioning students who hopefully want to go on and maybe earn their master's in athletic training to become a certified athletic trainer. So in addition to the regular major coursework, you guys also take an intro to athletic training lab that allows you to go on and become qualified to go to athletic training programs. Just like with everyone else, guys, if you have questions about that last exploration or upper div, consult with GE Advising. The exercise science generalist program is with a few smaller units. It has less units, but it's very similar to the fitness program. So if we just take a look again at it's very modeled after earning a certification when you complete it. So in other words, you could go out, pay for a course, pay for a certification to earn some kind of, professional letters behind your name, credentials. So this program is lighter and it's a little more flexible, but it's similar in the way that it's modeled and its intention. The major includes ex-phys, disease pathophys, motor learning, etc. The only thing that you're missing, if we flashed back to the one before, is you're not doing that capstone internship and you're not doing any gerontology. So you're losing out on learning about elderly nutrition and fitness. And the reason that we did that is because you guys have a variety of other interests, and I'll come back to that in a second. My animations were off. You have a variety of interests, but most importantly, you guys sometimes want to go to occupational therapy school, PT school, etc. So there's some major electives carve out. The fitness internship is taken out because not all of you want to go into the fitness industry. Some of you want to go into allied healthcare professions. And so you've got some room for major electives and a lot of space in the schedule for peppering in prereqs for things that you might want to do after the bachelor's. So back up here to this though, one of the other things that makes this program different is that you are required to do this one program for study abroad. So it's called HHS 350. Only your major has it, but it's just part of the promise to get you out of here in 60 units, but it knocks out social and behavioral sciences and the cultural diversity requirement. So it's nice if, it's a quadruple dipper for you guys. Also, just to point out that the other explorations A and C, because I'm sure you have figured out by now, there are 3 A, B, and C. Those aren't satisfied in your degree naturally, but if you would like to take a major elective that satisfies natural sciences, there is one that double dips into both areas, Nutrition 313. There's also the humanities and upper div writing class that would be extra, and please consult with General Advising for help planning those courses. The international experience requirement is also something that is required for the bachelor's. Now, there are all sorts of exceptions because of the pandemic, and I'm sure you'll have a whole separate module and time with the international experience director, and they'll talk with you about how that's being handled. But right now, and I'm going to, spiel it the same way it's usually done, because I assume by the time you graduate, some of you will want a normal pattern with study abroad, which is you might go on one of many types of trips, maybe a 4-week trip over summer or winter break, maybe a much shorter trip over summer and winter break, like a 9-day trip where you can earn volunteer hours, or maybe the big shebang going on a full semester exchange. And even as of this summer 2020, we have students that are full-fledged planning full semester abroad. So we know that the world is back open to doing that with our students. So if you want to do a full semester exchange program, that would be something that you would work with us ENS advisors on. Otherwise, we're not too involved. This is something that you would work with the College of Health and Human Services. So there's an advisor, College of Health and Human Services advisor. Oh, that over zoomed in. But they'll help you with planning your study abroad experience. We're only involved if you'd like to take coursework for a full semester program abroad. So you're going all term and you're taking, say, an ENS course that we would need to say, hey, yeah, that's equivalent. So that's when we're involved in this experience. Otherwise, you're going to plan that on your own with the study abroad advising teams, and you're going to go on either a summer or winter trip that doesn't get in the way of your coursework, or a big full semester exchange in which we will help you plan your coursework. Just a little timeline or little guideline on the timing. Lead time 1 semester, ideal travel time junior or senior year. So the services provided in academic advising include: number one, and most important for you today, is that if you don't automatically switch to major status in the computer, meaning that you've met all these impaction listed in these little boxes and that you've completed all the major prep classes and web portal, our computer system, didn't automatically switch you, then we can help you do that. And so one of the things that we do for both new transfers and continuing students is, hey man, I'm missing this 1 unit lab, but I need major status. So we can evaluate you for early major declaration. And so we're going to work with you during your transfer orientation to do that. We also do any kind of changes. We approve and review changes to your program. So if it says in the program that you're supposed to take ENS 304 exercise phys, but you'd like to go to Australia and take an equivalent exercise physiology class, that would be our job to review and approve those. We do not do those for courses out of the major. So no GE, nothing for, anything in any other pockets of the degree, just for major coursework. We also mostly, I'd say 85% of our time is spent helping students with their course schedule planning and making sure that they're sequencing their classes right and they're not skipping a beat or missing any important timelines. So without further ado, let's talk about each separate major's schedule plan. Starting with foods and nutrition. So foods and nutrition, luckily for you guys, if you are done with your lower division GE, your first year here looks a lot lighter on paper. You've got a 6 and 11 unit term. However, like I'd mentioned before, most students transfer in without Biochem and Nutrition 205, our food science class. So you have plenty of room in your schedule to add both of those courses. Chem 160 is critical because if you see the double hashtag behind it, that's also important for that first semester along with physio. Some of you have it done, but physiology and biochem are critical prerequisites to Nutrition 302 in semester 6, which are critical prerequisites for semester 7, Nutrition 406 and 408. And those are what we call the lockstep classes. They're right in a row and you can't take the next one without the preceding one. So it's important that you have Chem 160 done this fall and physiology done this fall to progress on time to a 2023 graduation. So you have plenty of room to schedule those extra classes. If you are by any chance like, hey, I'm done with the GE classes, I'm done with physio, and I'm even done with biochem, and you're only at, say 8 or 9 units and you'd like more, you can pull in to pick out ENS 434, GE Exploration C, and Exploration B. Those would be the best courses to fluff out and give yourself a nice unit balance. And of course, it just takes chunks out of what's ahead. The rest of these courses fall in an important sequence and you don't have the prerequisites for them. So again, I'll let these pop up. Those are your add-in courses if you need more units. Pre-physical therapy. So like foods and nutrition, luckily for you guys, this schedule looks a lot different if you're done with lower division GE. So most of you guys are done with these lower division GE courses. And if so, you can see nice and light. You're sitting at 45 units all the way across. You're paying attention just in case you want to apply straight through. You're going to be applying to DPT programs next fall, senior year. So looking at the last prerequisites, just make sure that these 3 fit in here in your schedule. In case you don't use advising, of course, we would tell you this, but if you don't use advising, make sure that you're getting in physio, abnormal psych, and the physio lab before you would get to semester 7 because that's your application semester. So just pay attention to those DPT ones as you're scheduling this fall and next spring. Last little thing for you guys is if you are still pre-major status, so you transferred in and you're missing your physics lab or you're missing your micro, no big deal, you guys. You can take any of the classes that are outside of ENS, any of the GE, and even ENS 303 as long as you have anatomy done with pre-major status. So no need to worry about switching into major status because you can schedule Bio 336, ENS 303, Psych 350, Com 321 from term 7. I'll show you those again. These ones that are popping up are all classes that you can take with pre-major status, okay? So if you came in again without a lab done, no big deal. Take those instead, and then you'll switch to major status after semester 5. Fitness specialist. The first and most important thing to point out for you guys, because you have a pretty packed schedule all the way through, is the hashtag sequence, because it's just like nutrition. It's all the way through. Bio 336, critical before ENS 304, which is regular physiology, critical before pathophysiology and fitness assessments. And you can see ENS 304 is a critical prerequisite throughout all semesters showing. So make sure that you get Bio 336 on your schedule this semester. And if you're done with it, feel free to move up ENS 304 because it is the leader in the pattern of subsequent matriculated classes. Also notice that Gero 310, the gerontology course, is fall only. So if you do not have Gero 101 yet, please get that because it's also fall only. And then you'd be, you only have 2 falls here. So make sure that you're paying attention to the Gero in your fall schedule and making sure that physio is on there. And if you're done with that, X-Physio is the next best choice. Exercise science generalist students, just like with the last program, important to notice the sequencing, ENS 304 being the first class with hashtag, and you guys actually only have a 3-semester sequence because all of you already come in with physiology already done. So your schedule isn't quite as jam-packed with the hashtag, but do notice that the 304 starts it and of course builds all the way through. Semester 4, the last one here, you guys don't have any classes that can be taken. Those classes can be taken in any order, 100% interchangeable. If you guys are done with your major prep, some of you guys have usually 1 class in major prep, maybe a GE class or 2, like an ethnic studies or an American institution. If you have major prep or lower division GE, please schedule those in addition to these major classes. And if you still need more, then you're reaching for explorations A and C, showing here in semester 3 and 4. So that's what you guys are going to schedule this semester: exercise phys with its lab, ENS 303, ENS 306. And if you need more, finish that prep or finish that lower division GE. And if you're all done with that, you're reaching into those explorations showing for next year. Here are some additional contracts and resources. Obviously, we're going to be meeting with you guys in some 10-minute appointments to ask schedule planning or help you with schedule planning questions. But you can, of course, email us also, get a hold of GE Advising and Study Abroad Advising, and then some other departments and, offices that we work closely with just for handy, just to have at hand. Thank you guys for listening to this much longer than intended video. We're looking forward to meeting with you in person. And again, truly congratulate you on your admission. We know you worked hard to get here and we're so excited to see you the rest of the way through. Thank you for listening.